All right, go for it.
Good morning, everyone. It's the one, the only Senor Silverback himself, the majestic ape, joined with the master of the flux capacitor. Together, we are smashing the airwaves with actual, real truth and information that's important to you. With that being said, you can check us out on roguemoney.net, as well as on Twitter at the Rogue Money and Facebook Rogue Money, and Rogue Money on every single podcasting app known to mankind, as well as Rogue Money on Apple News and soon to be on Google News. We're everywhere you want us to be. With that being said, check out our sponsors, myfreedomnow.us, myfreedomnow.us. Get your credit fixed, get out of debt in 30 to 90 days or less. And if you don't have any credit or debt problems, just check them out. You need some money, they can get you $600,000 unsecured because they deal with a network of over 335 lenders. If you got that business you've been thinking about, that investment you've been thinking about, you're trying to get funding, check out myfreedomnow.us, myfreedomnow.us. And if you want to evade and be more private, especially in this day and age, you are sick and tired of surfing around in the dangerous internet and you're ready to take the deep dive, check out mygoldusb.com. Mygoldusb.com. Surf the internet anonymously, free yourself from deep state surveillance, and secure your Bitcoin wallet with 1024-bit encryption, all in one product, mygoldusb.com. With that being said, CJ, let's crack lacking.
Hey, good morning, V. Ready to rock it out. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm just letting the dark roast work its way through the veins as it enervates my brain cells. That's what I'm doing, man. That's what I'm doing. Other than that, I'm chilling.
Good deal. Good deal. I tell you what's hilarious is just watching the implosion occurring over at CNN right now. That's what I'm enjoying.
Isn't it wonderful? And they don't stop, do they? I mean,
They don't.
for 1 second, do they ever let the pedal off the metal? Do they ever lift off and pause for a moment? Did that idiot Jeff Zucker, who is the CEO of CNN, does he ever stop for 1 second and say to himself, maybe we should have a change of direction? No, 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 no. See, there's this disease that has gotten leftists. And I'm going to be very clear. There's a difference between a leftist and a liberal. You don't have many liberals anymore. In fact, liberals don't have a place to go. In fact, there's actually some liberals are actually becoming libertarians at this point. Because what has occurred is you have this frothing at the mouth, lithium swilling leftists. Okay? And that being said, these idiots, these leftist nuts over at CNN, they can't stop. It's like they feel like they have this commitment that they've made that they have to continue to bury themselves deeper and deeper and deeper into the hole, CJ. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I can't make heads or tails. You want to talk about bad business decisions? This is it, man. It's hilarious.
Yeah, they take everything like in almost a high schoolish manner, V, as far as the popularity contest and taking just everything just so personal,
Mm-hmm.
and their latest actions as far as going after specifically this meme creator that made this video of Trump wrestling down and taking this figurehead and removing it and putting CNN logo on there, and they're complete unmasking, basically threatening to he is and potentially breaking laws. And I love Ted Cruz. I love Ted Cruz, how he just came out on the offensive. It's like, I hope you guys know law and what it entails, because everyone knows that Ted Cruz is probably the sharpest
He
guy
is
in.
the sharpest guy when it comes to law. And oh my God, in the Senate, man, the guy is a shark.
Yeah, so he comes out and starts releasing these tweets, basically saying, "Listen, I'm not sure if CNN lawyers have examined Georgia law," and he states the statute, the number that theft by extortion, if CNN is constructively obtaining the gift maker's IP address, and then he stated another law that they potentially violated. one of the CNN anchors. I can't specifically remember his name, but he actually took down a tweet, because that tweet was kind of almost in a threatening manner. But again, just grow up. Would you just can you please CNN just admit that you're wrong? Just admit that you're wrong. Change course right now. I don't even think they can right now change course. I don't even think that's an option. I think they're in the Titanic and it's heading down. V.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's just a GIF. Okay, it's a GIF. And actually, I had a family member who said this to me before. That this GIF has been around before. It's been around for a while.
Oh yeah,
it's been around for a while, long while, and it's only recently that this has happened. Okay, and after the guy says, "Okay, look, I'm sorry, I don't want you to out me," I apologize, and he takes it down, and you're gonna like threaten him. I mean, think about it. You have 4 of your douchebag reporters. This is their elite team. I forgot the name of their elite team. CJ. They have this elite team of reporters. They're called the I4 whatever. Reporting team. I mean, these idiots. Think about the amount of money and time they wasted in hunting down this guy, finding his Reddit account, tracking it all the way down, finding out where the threads are going, finding out who he is, getting his username. They're doing all the background investigations, cross-referencing with other social media to find out who the hell he is. How many hours does that take, man? Okay? And these idiots couldn't do that, spend that kind of time on Hillary Clinton and her emails.
Bingo.
They couldn't spend that kind of time on Barry O when he was in the office, and him and Eric Holder were running Fast and Furious, the gun running operation. Do you mean they couldn't spend some time putting those P's and Q's together and figuring out that there is something terribly wrong about the narrative that is coming out on Benghazi? You mean you couldn't tell me that these a-holes who spent all this inordinate amount of time in doing investigative quote-unquote journalism couldn't figure out, hey, maybe there's a real problem with places like in Flint, Michigan, where people are drinking poisoned water? But they are able to unmask this guy on social media. What an achievement, CNN. Hold on. Let me clap for these morons. You can now have several. Please have several. Have several seats. I mean, how dumb are these guys, bro?
Well, V, I think in part, I think they like the media, in particular CNN. I won't say all anchors and all media personnel. However, I truly believe that they think of themselves as an elitist group. And you had previous, who used to place these media people on a pedestal, who basically used to worship them. They used to worship him back. Oh, yeah. And they think that they're this elitist class that doesn't believe that society deserves the right to form an opinion by themselves. They want to do that for America.
Mm-hmm. Correct. That's why you have this idiot, Chris Cuomo, who I'd like to bitch slap. Chris Cuomo on CNN during the whole WikiLeaks Vault 7 leak, when he says, if you have these papers, you shouldn't have it. It's like illegal. And you should give it to us. And only we're allowed to look at it. And we'll tell you what's in it. F off. Nobody trusts you, you little douche. It's ridiculous. CNN. And I love it. More. I want more from the left. Please, more. You guys are eating yourselves. This is why you shouldn't fear the left, folks. These people, not only are they incredibly stupid, not only have they been exposed as stupid to the upcoming generation, which is Generation Z, which is going to be the most conservative generation since World War II. Thank you, Jesus. The most conservative generation since World War II. And the most libertarian generation since World War II. Okay? They're looking at these morons like they are absolute idiots. Okay? The beautiful thing about these leftists, they don't reproduce. They don't have kids. They have puppy dogs and 50 cats. They don't reproduce.
Just like the EU leaders.
Exactly. Let them all eat themselves. They're all going to be dead. Our job as Americans, and thank God this has happened, CJ, we, the libertarian / conservative movement, we are now the counterculture. Like when we had our buddy Gavin McGinnis on, okay? We are the counterculture. We are what is cool. I mean, look at who the right and the libertarian and the alt media has. Who do they have? You know, we have some of now the smartest and sharpest, but also the best looking. I mean, think about it. We have some of the best looking people. Who does the left have? They have like, what do they have, man? Like Hillary Clinton, ew, Amy Schumer. I mean, you know, James Tapeworm or Jack Tapeworm from CNN. I mean, that's what they got. They got nobody likes them. They're not cool. We are what's cool. We are the counterculture, and I think that's going to continue to roll, man. I love it, bro. I love it.
Yesterday
More
all
from the left.
day. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime I opened my feed, whether it was Twitter, whether it was Facebook, what trended yesterday all day and actually became the #1 trending topic on social media was the hashtag CNN blackmail. And
Mm-hmm.
it was amazing to witness the amount of people that came out against their extortion efforts, against this who knows who this person is, right? But then Ivan Throne, right? Ivan Throne,
Thorn.
our
Ivan Thorn.
friend, came out with a great post, and he posted and showed the traffic based upon the hashtag, and then also took a look at the actual reporters and anchors from CNN, and like they had like no activity all day because they were running and hiding.
I love it. I love it. How do you destroy? I mean, think about this, guys. This is one of the biggest. When you look at it yourselves, right? CNN is one of the biggest news outlets on the planet. Okay, we are on the verge. We are on the cusp of killing them. You know what this is like? This is like back in the Neolithic days when our ancestors, okay, will cross into the new continent of North America and saw these gigantic hairy elephants called mammoths. And rather than being scared crapless of them, decided to fashion and festoon weapons, figured out hunting tactics, and learned how to run them down and kill them. We are in. That's exactly what we're doing today, folks. We are doing the Neolithic the Neolithic equivalent of killing a mammoth. CNN is going to be done. I urge CNN, please do more stupid stuff. Please, please continue to do so. Leftists, whatever happened to the Antifa, man? I don't hear any stuff about them anymore. I guess they
Not
got
since
tired of atomic wedgies.
the atomic wedgies, and I think that they went for the MMA training, the karate training, and that just completely wiped them out.
That was it. They were too tired. They're too tired from their MMA training. Has anybody else?
That's too much work.
You guys have to see that video, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like a bunch of these pansy sissy boys trying to throw punches. It's the most funniest thing in the world. We're trying to defend ourselves. We want to make sure that the fascists don't attack us. And they're like, oh my God, I know girls that hit harder than these idiots. You know, it's just the funniest thing in the world. Um, Siege was hilarious, bro. Hilarious. I love it. I want more from the left. Left, please do more. Be more stupid. I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
That
talking
brings
about needing to wake up, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So what's going on? What about this thing with Bank of America and them finally deciding to wake up?
CJ, our no shit Sherlock moment of the day belongs to Bank of America. Bank of America issued a statement yesterday that what we've been saying all along for many, many, many years. And that, CJ, is that B of A warns that the rise of ETFs, the exchange traded funds, is distorting the stock market. Oh my God, you don't say. Oh my God.
Roll over and wake up in the
Yeah,
21st century or what?
I think that's exactly what happened. B of A rolled over and they woke up and they realized they woke up in the 21st century and they're saying, oh my God, oh my goodness, uh, exchange traded funds are really distorting the marketplace. We don't know what's mark to market. We financialize these derivatives so many times that we don't even know the actual underlying value of the asset. You don't say, Bank of America. The number of passive investors who trade stocks via exchange traded funds has surged in recent years and what some see as a sign of a dysfunctional market. Oh, CJ, they said the D word, dysfunctional market. You don't say. Strategists at Bank of America Merrill Lynch, led by Savita Submaranian. No, I think that is his name. Savita Submaranian. Wow, that's a cool ass name. That's
Wow.
like a superhero. I am the Submaranian. you know, earlier this week, warned in a report that the surge of ETFs is distorting the stock market and making it less efficient in the process. Historically, large cap U.S. equity managers have had the luxury and the curse of a liquid, efficient market. On the one hand, capacity has been less of an issue for the S&P 500 than it has been for the Russell 2000. ETFs currently account for nearly a quarter of U.S. stock trading volume versus 76% for individual stocks. 3 years ago, ETFs accounted for 20%. This is what's happening. Everything is absolutely screwed up, and no one knows the value of anything anymore. And here's B of A admitting it. I love it. I love it.
Their wake up moment, V.
They woke up and they finally caught up to what we've been saying for years.
Yep.
Anyway, man, the importance of the North Korean crisis to simmer down. War absolutely would be regionally catastrophic. The deep state wants war, but it's not going to get one. CJ.
Yeah, I mean, this just needs to totally be toned down. You know, all the rhetoric of these. So we have Russia and China come out with a joint statement, basically saying, "Hey, listen, you know, allow us to do our work. They probably have the most significant interest in this V, you know, and just tapering back to try to get the North Koreans to say, listen, stop with all these foolish missile tests, stop with all these actions take place, and to the United States, stop putting all these weapons on the South Korean peninsula. They don't need your missile defense systems. Let's work this out through diplomacy, through negotiations. I mean, China has the direct ability to manage and to guide North Korea. So this whole thing just needs to be tapered back. And what scared me, V, yesterday was when you watched a lot of other alternative news outlets that were talking about this World War III on the brink. And
God. Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm listening.
These clickbaits to get people just to click on their shows that, you know, World War III around the corner, you know, the world's going to implode, the earth is in danger. All this hyping up regarding what's happening there, when in fact, I'm sure, V, that the Chinese have had vast negotiations with North Korea, explain to them, listen, here are the repercussions. Everyone knows, V, at least you and I know, that there's no win scenario out of any type of escalation of war with North Korea right now. There's no win game strategy there.
No. And let me tell. This is why people need to tune out a lot of these idiots. First of all, look, there's no alt media out there. There's no alt media out there right now on YouTube, or you know, definitely on YouTube, about that has a really good international grasp on things, apart from us and London Paul. Period. Okay. Then on the web, people who have a good grasp on what's going on internationally with all the events would again be us, London Paul, Jim Willie, and maybe one or two other outlets. That's it. Okay. Then when you get onto the military hardware aspect of it, there's no one out there that's going to beat me. Period. Sorry. That's just the way it is. Nobody. Okay. I will name you 1,000,001 piece of hardware from every part of the world from 1900 onwards till today. And so when I tell you there's no friggin' World War III, and war will be a mistake. If we go to war with North Korea, that'll be the dumbest thing in the world, and I'll tell you why it's the dumbest thing in the world for a wide variety of reasons. The idiots in the deep state, of course, want a war because they like to sit there. They like to get their, dog feces together and work themselves up into a tizzy, circle jerking each other until they pass out. They love it. It's like a, euphoria for these old morons. Okay. The deep state wants it because, I don't know, they're obsessed with this crap. The problem is this. Anybody who says, "Oh yeah, going to North Korea is going to be easy. It's going to be like Iraq." No, it's not going to be like Iraq. Let me explain the North Korean situation for you guys. Kim Jong-un, outside of Pyongyang, okay, I will now refer to Kim Jong-un as Sum Dong-ful, okay? So Sum Dong-ful, outside of Pyongyang, is not very popular, okay? That is why, if you look at his military, there's no military forces, there's no military base within Pyongyang itself. He doesn't allow that. Why? Because he doesn't trust the majority of his army. Now, there's a faulty, and that is a string you can pull, and that is a string that if you bring pressure, especially a lot of economic pressure, which China has done by cutting off their importation of North Korean coal, okay? That has put a lot of economic pressure on North Korea. If you continue to put economic pressure where no country can trade with them, then they will implode societally, where people get so miserable. There'll be no electricity whatsoever running in Pyongyang itself. Food, you'll have starvation coming to Pyongyang, and they'll be so miserable that they will eventually overthrow Kim Jong-un in a coup. It will happen on its own. That's what you got to do. That's a smart way of doing it. Now, if you try to invade, remember I said there's no military bases within Pyongyang. All the military bases are abroad, and those military guys that are stationed abroad, they are underfed. They will run as soon as they hear a gunshot. They are rationed food. They're rationed bullets. They're only given, I think, about 12 bullets. Each guy is given 12 bullets. It's literally counted out to them. That's how poor these idiots are. They're incredibly poor. It's counted out to them, CJ. And their whole thing is that if they engage the Americans for combat, remember, they've been preparing for a war with the Americans for like 50 years. So they're always training to go to war with the Americans and the South Koreans. That's their only enemy they train for. Nobody else. And they're trained that if they run out of the 12 bullets that they have in their World War II era rifles, that they ought to switch to hand-to-hand combat. It's the most funniest thing in the world. And it is laughable. But here's the other thing. So we go to war with these idiots. The outlying army and the military base, they drop their weapons, they run for their lives. You have a humanitarian crisis. You can have the massive populations of tens of millions of people trying to storm across the borders into China, into Russia, and that's what the Russians and Chinese don't want. It's going to create havoc. Some of them will try to storm south into the South Korean border. It's going to create havoc, a humanitarian crisis on your hands. Secondly, okay, the only military force that is loyal to Kim Jong-un is the 100,000 member, I think about 100 to about 180,000 member North Korean Special Forces units. I mean, you've seen pictures of these guys. You know, they are the most well-fed. They are the most well taken care of. These are the guys that Kim Jong-un that are loyal to Kim because Kim takes care of him and of them. These guys are armed. These guys are well trained. These guys will fight guerrilla style warfare right in the streets of Pyongyang. They will fight to the bitter end. It won't be easy. While that's occurring, you will have 100,000 rockets and missiles launched and artillery launched directly into Seoul, South Korea. So that you got to evacuate the entire city of Seoul, South Korea, and possibly even Busan. So does this make sense? Because you want to flex your muscles because some idiot kid, the fattest man in North Korea, decides to shoot up for a couple of rockets, okay, a couple of missiles into the water. You want to start a full-scale war? When you say stop it, don't do it, and then all of a sudden, boom, he shoots off more rockets into the water, you're going to go ahead and have an invasion, creating tens of millions dead in South Korea from Busan and Seoul getting hit. Massive humanitarian crisis, massive loss of life, and it will be a tough slog. These guys, the North Korean Special Forces, are not to be sneezed at or taken lightly. Will they be defeated? Yeah, but it's going to come at a very high price. It's not going to be easy. The pros and cons are stupid. There's no pros here. None. Okay? The best thing to do is kill this guy economically. And I've said this 2 years ago, that Kim Jong-un, that the Russians and the Chinese want this guy out. And they were convorting to do that. Kim Jong-un's uncle, who was assassinated and killed by Kim by having him fed to 120 different dogs, was plotting with the Chinese for the removal of Kim Jong-un. Kim knows this. Okay? Kim knows this. So let sleeping dogs lie. It's not worth it. Okay, number one. Number two, we have not won a war since World War II. And in fact, if you think we won World War II, you are more hyped up on Hollywood hoopla and propaganda than anyone else. The only nation that really won World War II were the Russians. Okay? The only reason we survived in Europe was because the Germans went through a meat grinder called Russia. Okay? And that is the reason why. If we've entered the war, if, for instance, I'm telling you right now, if the German 15th Army happened to be in Normandy instead of Moscow that day, we would have been slaughtered. We would have been slaughtered on the beaches of Normandy. But Hitler, being the idiot that he is, and drunk on his own hubris, decided to fight a two-front war, and it's cost him. So, the moral of the story here, folks, is there's no way we're going to... This whole North Korean thing is the most stupidest thing in the world. I don't think for 1 second that anybody's signing off on this. I think there's a lot of rhetoric, a lot of saber rattling. I think that's going to continue. I think the strategy and the right strategy here will be economic, bleeding out, and then eventual coup. Come on, man. If you could plot a coup in Ukraine, you could put a coup together in Pyongyang. Come on. You know?
Exactly.
Jeez. Unreal. So that's the whole situation. Unless these alt media outlet idiots putting out their little clickbait, World War III, end of the world, you know, then they're telling you to go buy their super boner pills. Just shut them off, man. Just shut them off. Join over here, Rogue Money. We'll talk some sense into you. We'll bring some balance. We'll tell you to put down the cat food, come out of your bunker, and join the rest of us who are looking for opportunity within crisis. CJ.
Yeah, the next article I put in the deck was just basically to hear you sound off. And that was Volvo will only sell electric or hybrid cars from 2019.
Oh, God. This is the sign that the Swedes have officially lost it. Yeah, I mean, they've been raped by migrants so much that they don't want to even make gasoline engines anymore because they feel that gasoline engines are what's causing global warming, and global warming is what caused the migrant crisis. That's what it is. Okay, global warming has caused the migrant crisis, and climate change has driven them into Sweden. So the way the Swedes are combating their migrant crisis is to stop making gasoline cars altogether. Everything will be a plug-in. I mean, how wonderful is that, CJ? You and your wife, you want to go out to dinner, you get into your beautiful Volvo XC90 SUV, which I truly believe the XC90 SUV, by the way, is a stunning vehicle, beautiful, one of the best SUVs you can get with a gasoline engine. But this time you wanted to get the electric one, CJ. So you go out, you know, you drive halfway across town, heavy traffic, and you finally get to your destination, and you're eating dinner. You come out, and your stupid Volvo electric car is still charging. You got another 3 more hours to kill. Is that great?
Interesting.
It's hilarious.
I'll pass on that, V. I'll pass on that.
It's the dumbest thing in the world, and they're going in that way because they're not looking at actual stats. They're looking at how the market is evaluating companies like Tesla. Okay, in acknowledgement of the Tesla 3, which will finally go on sale Friday. Yeah, okay. Samuelson stated that it's a tough competitor. So they're gonna realize the lesson that Tesla learned, and Volvo, just like Tesla, is all of a sudden going this whole full electric decision, is gonna burn through a ridiculous amount of money, just like Tesla. Electric cars do not work. The future, look, already cars have producing 0 hydrocarbons in their emissions. The future is not electric. The real future is hydrogen fuel cell. That is the real future. In fact, Tesla's subsidiary, Nikola makes they debuted a semi-tractor trailer, which uses a hydrogen fuel cell, which has a 1,500-mile range and produces 2,000 horsepower, CJ. 2,000 horsepower. Okay? I love those words. I have a nerdgasm every time I hear that. 2,000 horsepower. Like it sends chills down my legs. Anyway, that's the future. Okay, 1,500 miles and ridiculous power. That's the future. Hydrogen fuel cell provides that and zero emissions. And again, gasoline engines are far from being quote unquote obsolete or outdated. They're some of the most efficient engines in the world. Not to mention they sound epic. Especially you get the right one. Nothing there, dude. I have a German screamer. I have a German car with a V8 that revs to 9,000 RPMs. When that thing screams, it is like an orchestra opened up in heaven. Oh my God, CJ, it's incredible. Woo! All right. Next, what else is going on, man? Let's run through this real quick.
Yeah, no, just a couple of just a couple real quick. We're catching when today that Microsoft will begin announcing a major organization shakeup. Yeah, more layoffs are on their way through Microsoft, and this has been rumored through TechCrunch, through GeekWire, reporting that that today they'll be announcing a lot of different reorganization, whether it's moving people to different positions and or layoffs on the way. So watch that be announced through Microsoft later on today.
That's the second time in like 2 years, man. Unreal. Has science been wrong about chemo all along? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, they've been wrong about chemo.
Yeah, you talked about this gosh, I can't remember who specifically we had on a while back talking about the whole, and we actually had one of our guests actually comment on one of the posts saying, hey, specifically, where did you discuss that? But, you know, we're just seeing a huge rise in cancer. I don't know what it is. It seems like every other day I'm either hearing about either a friend of a friend, a family member with this whole cancer thing and this whole approach regarding chemo. And now there's a study, you know, coming back to confirming basically what we have said all along, is that chemo is actually helping to spread the cancer, you know, through the body. And this study reveals that, you know, how this happens is specifically is that, you know, they did a study with mice, and basically the cancer cells that are circulating in the body, the lungs, that when the chemo comes in, it actually opens up those pathways for the cancer tumor to spread, you know, potentially causing more harm than good.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, 1,000%. And let me tell you guys something. Chemotherapy. The word chemotherapy. It's kind of like the word quantitative easing. Quantitative easing is just a fancy schmancy way of saying money printing out of thin air. Okay. Chemotherapy is just a fancy schmancy way of saying mustard gas. That's what it is. Chemotherapy is World War I mustard gas that has been reconstituted. That's all it is. That is why the pharmacists who mix chemotherapy have to wear hazmat suits lest they get cancer. Okay? They know this. So you want to prevent cancer? Yo, cut your sugar habit, man. Cut your sugar habit. Increase your omega-3 intake. You do those two things, you will, and I say omega, I'm 3 to 5 grams a day of omega-3s. Okay? 3 to 5 grams a day of omega-3s. Vitamin C, you should be on minimum 5,000 milligrams of high quality, high absorbable vitamin C. I use a combination of a little bit of ascorbic acid, because ascorbic acid is a good carrier. It's a good transporter. But you know, it's a calcium ascorbate, sodium ascorbate, and ascorbyl palmitate, which is the world's only fat-soluble vitamin C. Okay? I use a combination of that every day, 5,000 milligrams. Sugar, cut your sugar habits. Americans eat way too much friggin' sugar. That's why most Americans are fat, have all sorts of metabolic problems. Sugar is a hepatotoxin. It is a liver toxin. Sugar is made for you. I mean, when you have this synthesized artificial sugar, it's one of the best things to create bombs. It's sugar. Okay, don't put that crap inside you. You do that, and then you take 3 to 5, grams. That's 3 to 5,000 milligrams of high quality omega-3s to offset the ridiculous amount of omega 6s that you're getting, which is causing the rise. And you look at way too much omega-6 and way too much sugar. You're looking at the extremely high levels of arachidonic acid buildup within the American system. You do this, just these two corrections will go a whole way of getting rid of cancer and mitigating it drastically. But here we go, chemotherapy, man. I mean,
and just for our listeners, this was the study was published in the Science Transitional Medicine, and it basically says, quote unquote, in this study, we only investigated chemotherapy-induced cancer cell dissemination in breast cancer. We're currently working on other types of cancer to see if similar effects are basically, done with other types of cancer. So,
correct.
Yeah. So I'm not telling anyone to go stop your chemo if anyone is battling it, but, make sure to check out that article. It's a good read.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think that's it, buddy, huh?
Yep. That's it, bro. That's it.
And with
big
that
day today.
Big day. We got Harley and we got Gus.
Absolutely.
And we're going to cuss with Gus later, and we're going to hang with Harley right after this.
Let's do it.
With that being said, folks, check us out later. Again, roguemoney.net. Check out our sponsors, myfreedomnow.us, and mygoldusb.com. With that being said, CJ, we're over and out. Take us away, CJ.